Susie with Simply Creative Pages here. It is Christmas in July, and I love Christmas. So let me show you what I've come up with. You know how pictures just get buried in your phone, and I believe that pictures belong on pages, not in phones. So this is a great way to get some of those pictures out. We're going to recreate this, and I'm going to show you how. These are the tools and the pages I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using the custom cutting system Wave, and that just snaps down onto the 13 by 13 mat so that you can slide it along. It doesn't really snap, I guess it just kind of hooks on. There's like a little ledge there. I'm going to be using the Christmas bulb punch that was available a couple of Christmases ago. I'm going to be using my red cutting blade. I'm going to be using the Magic of Christmas Embellishments, and that is still available for $12 on the website. And then I'm going to be using a couple of pages from the Christmas Charm Designer paper pack. It is not available, but I believe in shopping my stash, and I'm going to be using a couple of things from here. This pretty plaid, because I love plaid, and I'm going to be cutting strips from this page here to use in my design. Oh, and I'm going to use the jelly roll pen to add some highlight to my Christmas bulbs. So we're going to start with cutting 2 1-inch strips of plaid paper. All right, I got my plaid paper here. I'm just going to cut 1 inch. If you wanted to add a custom blade to it, you sure could. Give it a little bit of a pattern. Now that I say that, now I probably should have, but I did not, so. There we go, 2 1-inch strips. I'm gonna set that aside, we're gonna use that again. And then I'm gonna take just some white cardstock. All right, I'm gonna cut this to be 2 3/4 inch wide. Let me flip that around. It's just some scrap that I had. Ooh, that was perfect. Couldn't do that again if I tried. All right, and then we're just gonna add some and move that out of the way. I like to use glue with paper and my tape runner with photos. Sometimes I use my tape runner just because it's a little bit easier. Just run a bead of glue there. I just want, I don't know, probably 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch sticking out there. I'm just eyeballing it. You do what makes you happy. Was it more paper than I needed? Yes. But also it seems like when I try to save paper, like trying to get it cut to 1/4 inch, then it's too small and I don't have enough room to move things around. So I feel like 1 inch gives me that room to play, you know? There we go. All right, we're almost done. Just kidding. But there's our base ready to go. And see, I didn't waste a whole bunch of paper. So we're ready to go with that. Next, we're gonna cut our black strips to make it look like the strings for the Christmas bulbs. And I cut a whole bunch of them here, but I wanted to show you how easy this is. I'm using black paper. You just find, I always like to start off by lining everything up so that my measurements are good. Oops, let's go the same way. Let's go the same way, Susie. So I like to start at 0 there. And then I wanted these to be, you know, around 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And if these custom cutting systems have an R, I don't know if you can see it, an R, a G, and a B on it, and those line up with your cutting circles. So I want to line up my R onto 1/2 inch. There we go, 1/2 inch there, 1/2 inch there. just occurred to me that this, I used a different wave, so let's just slice off a piece so we start fresh. Lock it into your channel, because if you don't, you're going to tear your paper, she said, speaking from experience. Move that up. All right, quarter of an inch. Pushing down hard this time. Oh, that's better. There we go. See how easy? Then we're just gonna crisscross this. Move this out of the way here. We're gonna crisscross this on our base to make it just look like Christmas light string. And I like that they were a little bit wonky, because I don't know if about you, but every Christmas string of Christmas lights I've seen have never been straight. They've all been wonky, all of them. Twisted and tangled. If you want yours to be perfect, then that's okay. I wanted mine to be a little bit realistic. Line that up. I'm going to overhang it and I'll snip that off at the end here. Okay, there's one. I'm going to do my skinny one here. Get glue all over my mat. This is where having those mats that are meant for that comes in handy. There we go, I like that. And it's okay if it's not perfect, because remember, we're going to put Christmas lights all over it. So it's going to hide any of my real mistakes, my unforgivable sins. There we go. And turn that over, and I'm just going to trim anything that's hanging off the side here. There we go. All right, so now to make the Christmas bulbs. Let me get all these black strips out of the way here. I punched a whole bunch of different colors. I wanted it to look, you know, pretty authentic. The yellow, blue, red, orange, green colors. So you just take your punch. I always punch upside down to see where it's going to come through, to utilize the most out of my paper I can without wasting paper. I turn it over so that that punch doesn't get lost inside here, that paper doesn't get lost inside here and cause me issues later. When you turn it upside down, it just falls right out. Let's see, I got it lined up. There we go. I already did a whole bunch of them, so I'm just going to do 2 for right now. Then I'm going to show you that I also wanted to add some depth to these and, you know, make them look a little bit old, like old Christmas lights. So I inked the edges of them. And I'm not going to worry about the edges of the base. I'm going to show you why here in a second. As I shake the whole table and shake the camera. A little heavy on that one, but that's all right. Just makes it look like it came out of the garage and it's all dirty, right? I should call this channel Things to Do, Not to Do by Susie. Always when you're done with your ink, put your lid on. I can't tell you how many pieces of paper I've ruined by leaving it open and dragging paper through it. Always put your lid on and then move your brush aside if you're using a brush. Now I wanted my bases to look more authentic, so Creative Memories has this awesome silver paper. I just punched the ends of it. I started punching the whole bulb, but I'm like, well, I'm just wasting paper. That was dumb. So I just started sticking just the very ends in, as long as I get all of the base of that bulb in there. There we go. So I'm going to trim it up with scissors anyway. Let's see. I think I've used up all those other pieces, so we'll try over here. You just need a little bit of it, just a tiny little bit of it. There we go. And then I want to snip it right across there. Add some glue. This is where the reversible tweezers comes in handy, because my fingernails are not long enough to hold anything anymore, and it's just easier to place with that. How cute is that? Cute little Christmas bulb light. Do the same thing here. Snip right across there. Add some glue. Simple yet beautiful. Is there something you guys would do different? I would love to know if you put it down in the comments. How would you have done this? Oh, look at that. The green's my favorite. Green's my favorite color. All right, now we're just gonna pull these out and lay them out. Oh, I forgot to ink all those up. How about that? All right. Okay, before I start laying those on, I forgot I wanted a place for my embellishments to land. So let's look through our embellishments here. On the last one, I found this really pretty wreath and the saying Christmas morning from this Magic of Christmas set. And there's a whole bunch of circles. Because I kind of wanted something right in the middle. I mean, if I use that, then I want to add little Christmas bulbs around the house. There's also just some plain ones in this set where I can add a little saying for my titles. There's Jolly Old Saint Nick. Could add a pretty bulb behind that. There's these old-fashioned lights in here, which I thought were absolutely adorable. There's Christmas trees. Here's a house, another house. The Magic of Christmas. I kind of like that too. Well, here's another blank one. Oh, I kind of like that one a little bit better. Let's use that one. Kind of like building with that bulb there. Let's see, and there's an amazing candy cane with some greenery. I think we might settle with that and then pop that up. Oh, I love this bulb. Isn't that pretty? There's nothing about Christmas I don't love. I love everything, including the snow. I know, I'm weird. Look at the snowman, he's just so adorable. Oh, and this little angel. Anyway, there's some adorable embellishments in here, and oh, the jingle bell is too much. That's just too much. All right, I might have to add that too. That feels busy now. No, that's too small. I think it's the candy cane that's throwing me. Let's take that out. Let's try something else over there. Or let's try nothing over there. Oh, I like that. All right, I think we're done. We are done with that piece. And then I've got a little embellishment down in the corner that I cut a 2 and a, let's see, how big is that? A 2-inch circle? No, I think I used the smallest of the red of the custom cutting system circles. Let's just move that out of the way here. And I cut a small circle out of the middle with this pretty paper that I said to hang on to. I used the blue blade, so it's just going to be a really small, like 2 3/4 inch circle here. Oh my gosh, my breakfast has been in the shop the whole time. I am so sorry. All right, so I'm gonna lock that blade in right in the middle there. Moving it over to utilize every piece of that paper. There we go. And see, that's just the plaid paper. We're just gonna use this side this time. Just ink it up to give it a little bit of depth. Has inking been something that you've tried on your pages? I have to tell you, I think I want to try stamping on my pages. I think I've got a bunch of stamps because I'm also a card maker. I haven't paid for a greeting card in, gosh, 15, 20 years, maybe longer. Because I like my own cards. I like to send that extra sentiment, and it means something to me to make that for them. So I have a whole bunch of stamps, and I think I would like I don't know where my circle punch is. Oh, there it is. I think I would like to use stamps directly on my page, so I think I might be coming up with something like that. So let me know in the comments if you've ever used stamps on your page and how that's gone for you. So I'm just going to cut a small 2-inch circle out of that green to go inside of the pretty circle I just inked. Yeah, and that's going to add to our embellishments down in the corner. All right, and then I also had a small border. One of the pages in this set has this pretty red star on one side and this very busy pattern on the back. But this is a perfect little border strip. I just cut that right off and used that at the bottom of my page. Sometimes the paper speaks for you, does all the work for you. And I am all about that. Instant border. Done for that border. All right, let me bring my paper and my pages down and we'll begin to assemble all of this. Here's my now very old pictures of my grandsons and my daughter. And I just used, let me get those magnets off of there. I had some wooden paper in my stash, just a green, like a dark green wood that I'm using to mat these with. I use the tape runner on my pictures because, you know, I've had a couple of loved ones pass on, and I've had to pull pictures out of an album to be able to use during those memorial services. And when I use the tape runner, they come off of the page much easier than if I use glue. If it's glued, they're never coming off. So, you know, I just believe in using tape runners for those what if moments. All right, so let's just kind of move these around here. I'll play with that once I get my border down here. All right, I'm gonna glue this in the center. I'm gonna do this first before I put the bulbs down so that I know exactly where I want everything. Here we go. Slide those up out of the way for a second. Now I can bring in my bulbs and decide where I want to put them. I just kind of got whimsical with it. You know, I up and down and here and there. I was careful to not put any of the colors next to each other because, you know, the string of lights are always very patterned that way. I'm going to use a blue or a green over on that side, so let's go with the orange over here. We'll go this way and cover up that goof up over in the corner there. See? Problem hidden. I love it when embellishments cover your mistakes. My favorite color, green. I think we want to go up here. Let's go up. And then let's put another yellow There, that's coming together really cute. My old-fashioned glass bulb off to the side. And I want to pop that up. If you've watched anything I've done, you know that I've got a problem. I'm trying to find a self-help group for dimensional squares. I haven't found one yet. Seriously, it's a problem. I have so many things in my scrapbook that I have to now go through and kind of thin some things out because it's too thick. My books are too thick because I really like dimension. I mean, it's a good problem, I suppose. Let's put that little jingle bell right there. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. If you wanted to punch out some little sprigs of greenery, you sure could, and have that stick out of there, but I think I like that just fine. All right, and I want that at the top. I moved my pictures out of the way, again, because, you know, experience has taught me that if I've got glue near pictures, I'm probably gonna get it on them. I'm clumsy, and if it's a mistake I can possibly make, I'm gonna make it. Oh, I like that. That's so pretty. All right, now let's bring our pictures in. Somebody got fairy wings for Christmas, so then the boys had fun trying them on. Let's see if we can slide all of those over and get those all in without touching. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. That's okay. That's what repositionable tape and trimmers are for. Let's just adjust those down. I think if I take just a 1/4 of an inch off, we should be fine. I'm not losing any real content there, so I didn't mind snipping that. I'm gonna take a 1/4 inch off of that. I don't save tiny little strips like that. I know some people do, and they've made some beautiful pages doing it, and I say, more power to you. If I could send you all of my strips or scraps, I would. Oh, there we go. I like that. All right, we're gonna do the same thing here. Go from this side. This is why you do a dry run first. You can see what fits and what doesn't, huh? This is Lisa with her dad. Now I could use one of those pages that flip, and I could, you know, add pictures like that, but I didn't have enough, I thought, to really do that. All right, I like that, and then I think I'm gonna put the little detail down here at the bottom. But before I do that, I'm going to put my strip of paper at the bottom. Even just a little bit of that white reveal there. There we go. All right, we're coming together. I think I'll split the difference there. And it's repositionable tape, so I can always pull it up if I don't like it, move it around and adjust it if I need to. If I get it on there crooked, that's happened too. This one, there we go. I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. Here it is, under my tape runner the whole time. I just want to add a little something down here in the corner. Let's see. Oh, that Santa's too cute. I think we'll do a little Santa. There we go. And we'll bump him up. All right, finished product. What do you think? Came together very quickly. Now, I don't do a whole lot of journaling on my pages. I like to document the date, and if it's people that I don't know, or you know, somebody in the future isn't going to know, I'll usually add some information around the pictures. I did leave a little bit of room on the other page. Let me pull that up and show you here. One more thing before I show you the finished product, my jelly pen that Creative Memories has. I'm just going to add some light highlights, and I'm going to pretend that the light is all coming from this way. So I'm just going to make my little line. I like a line and a dot. And I am not an art major, and maybe you are, and maybe you can say, you're not doing it right. By all means, please share with me what I'm doing wrong. But just a little bit of highlight on here just adds a little bit more dimension, especially, you know, we shadowed that with some ink. That was no effort at all, but look how much, it just adds a little bit, just a little bit. All right, let me show you that finished product. And here we are, the finished product. I think that turned out very cute. I can see now on the left side where I have not done a good job at bringing the border, that plaid border underneath, but I can go back in and fix that. That's easy enough. So thank you for tuning in today. If you want to see more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave any comments. I'd love to hear from you. My name is Susie. I'm an independent Creative Memories advisor. If you don't have an advisor, I would love it if you shopped my link below. Thanks for tuning in today. Bye-bye.